So we're solving systems of inequalities. This is SMA 10. And we'll just jump into our first question that's talking about finding 3 points that are solutions to the system. If you remember when we did systems of equations, there was one point where the two lines overlapped. Well, now we'll begin to shade, which you can see in step 3, which will give us multiple points that overlap. So my first step is to convert to slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Then we graph, then we shade, then we identify coordinates that are shared. And we're going to make sure that we do these in different colors so that it's really apparent where the lines are. So I'm going to do mine in orange. I've got 8x plus y is less than 2. I can go ahead and convert by subtracting 8x. 8x minus 8x is 0, and y is less than negative 8x plus 2. I'm going to keep going through these steps, and we'll come back to the other equation. So now I graph. I start at 2, and then I go 8 over 1. So rise of 8, run of 1. Rise of 8, so from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's up 8 over 1. And now I have this nice solid line from these 3 points. And I'm going to try to draw this as straight as I can, just over a little bit. And then I'll go a little more. And then it'll keep going over just a little bit at a time. I'll finish out the top. And then I can go ahead and I can shade. So I'm shading y is less than, so I'm shading below. That's this area here. So it includes A, D, F, H, and I. And now I just need to take care of the other equation so I can compare our shared coordinates.
And I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come down here and switch the color real quick. Can't find the cursor. Go. Sorry about that. So here we have our second equation. We're converting into slope-intercept form, so we're just solving for y. So we have x plus y is less than or equal to negative 5. We're going to subtract x to get y by itself, and then put this in slope first before our constant or our y-intercept. So we have y is less than or equal to negative x minus 5. Now we can go ahead and graph this. We know that our slope here is a negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to go to the y-intercept, negative 5, plot my point, and we're going up 1, and it's negative, so we're going to go to the left, and down over to the right. And it looks like, since it's 1 over 1, it's just the corners of these squares. I'm going to extend that all the way up here. That way it makes my line easier to draw. And now it's an equal to, so the line that I'm drawing is a solid. I'm doing my best to draw a straight line, not always easy freehand. And are we shading below or above? Y is less, so these values that are less down here. So we know that J, I, H, can't remember what that was,
F,
D are all included. So we've done 1 through 3, and now step 4 is the finding the 3 points that are included in both.
So we can see that J just has a blue circle. I has an orange and a blue circle, so we know that I is going to be one of our solutions. H has an orange and a blue circle. A is going to be a solution to both. F has an orange circle. It should not have a blue circle because it's up above. And then we have over here D, which has an orange and a blue circle.
My bad.
So we'll just go ahead and erase the blue circle. And now we have I, H, and D, which are shared in both of these solutions. You know, we're shading down below here, and that includes I, H, and D. Now we want to make sure that we list them in alphabetical order because I, H, D is not alphabetical, it'll count it wrong. Let's go ahead and just put D first, and then H, and then we'll end off with I. Alright, next one. Record the letters of the one point that is a solution to the systems of inequalities below. So now we know that we're looking for 1 point that we're going to end up finding, and we'll follow the same steps. We'll convert to slope-intercept form, so I'll just take this first equation here, and I'll go ahead and do this one in green. So x plus y is less than or equal to negative 8. I subtract x, and now I have 0. Y is less than or equal to negative x minus 8. I can now graph it. I start at negative 8, which is down here. Then I have a slope of negative 1 over 1. So again, negative 1 over 1. So I'll go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and I can continue to plot these points up my way through these corners. I'm just going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, all the way through the graph so that when I sketch this freehand, it's as accurate as possible. So there are my points. Because this is less than or equal to, this is going to end up being a solid line. So I'm going to make it as solid as I can all the way down this graph. And I'm shading below. So that means this entire region down here is shaded. Well, that entire region includes only the point H. So the point H is our only possible solution so far. We'll go ahead and jump to the other equation.
So if we know we only have 1 point, we know that point has to be H, but we'll go through the steps just so we get some extra practice. We have x minus y is greater than negative 4. Converts to slope-intercept. We're going to subtract x to both sides. And what we have is negative y is greater than negative x minus 4. Divide by negative 1 to eliminate the negative in front. When we divide, we've got to make sure, since we've divided an inequality, negative number to both sides, that we change the direction of the sign. So we have y is less than now. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 4 divided by 1 is 4. So here we have in slope-intercept form. We can go ahead and graph. We know that the slope is 1 over 1. Our y-intercept is 4, so we're up here at 4. Positive, so we're going to go up 1 right here, down 1 right here. We can go ahead and extend this out so we have an accurate line when we draw. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect the dots. I'm not going to fill in I'm not going to make the line solid because it's not an equal to, so I'm just going to keep it dashed. So there's my dashed line right here. And that's pretty good for freehand if I don't say so myself. Are we shading above or below? Well, y is less, so these y values that are less down here. So we're shading all of this area down here. So B, E, C, G, J, I, F, these are all points that are included, but we're looking for the point that they share. Well, H is also below, so here's the one point that is circled by both colors. So we know that the answer is H. Put it in alphabetical order. Don't get that one wrong.
Alright, here's our next example. We're going to go ahead and record the letters of the 3 points. We got 3 points again that are solutions to the systems of inequalities below. So again, we make sure that we know that we're talking about 3 points that we're looking for, and I'll go ahead and begin with this first inequality. I'll go ahead and do this one in purple. 2x minus y is greater than negative 6. I subtract 2x, and I have 0 here. Negative y is greater than negative 2x minus 6. When I divide by each term, and as I divide by each term, this becomes a positive value, so I just have y. I flip my inequality sign because I divided by a negative. Negative 2 divided by negative 1 is a positive 2x. Negative 6 divided by negative 1 is a positive 6. And I can graph. I go up to 6, then my slope is 2. So up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and I just continue to do that. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And again, I'm just continuing to use my slope to fill in these dots so that I have the whole grid filled out when I need to make my line. This is a less than, but not a less than or equal to. It's just less than. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave this dashed. I must say mine was not as good as the one on the last screen, but I think it's decent. And we are going to shade below. So below is all these points: H, F, B, E, C, G, J, I. It's everything on this lower part of the line.
So now that we know the solutions to the first inequality, let's go ahead and find the solutions to the second one so we can figure out what the shared ones are. Convert this to slope-intercept, so we're going to subtract the x term. We've got y, positive y, so we drop the positive now. Put this in mx, so negative 3x minus 4. We know that negative 3x, the slope is negative 3 over 1. So we now can go ahead and graph this. So negative 4 is the y-intercept, so we're going to go to negative 4. Our slope is negative, so I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left to make it a negative. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1. And that should be good enough for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. It's not an equal to, so it's a dashed line. So dashed is going to be like this. Okay, so dashed line. And now I'm going to go ahead and shade. So y is less, so we know that values that are less are down here. So I'm going to go ahead and circle the points that are below the line. We got I, we've got F, we've got H, we've got D. So let's look at the dots. Which ones are double circle with two colors? Well, D's not, but F is. Looks like H is. I is. J's not, and then these points obviously are not up here.
So something to just note really quickly is that even though D is a solution to the green, it doesn't have a purple ring. It's not a solution to the purple. So we're leaving that out. The same thing's true with B and E, C and G and J. These are solutions to the purple, but they're not solutions to the green also. So the letters that we're pulling out are just the letters that have a green circle and a purple circle around them. Those are the solutions to the system. Those are the solutions to both equations together.